Man, if I lived in Newton, I'd vote for you. Work with me here, people. Well, we're halfway through the week. It's Wednesday. Hump day. I decided to take 14th today. Kind of regretting the decision. Yeah, I plan on going to Adams tonight. Don't see anything changing that. Gonna have me a decent lunch today. Got some leftover stir fry. Got my coffee over here, aka energy drink. Definitely confirmed that we are going to meet with Joe and Judy around 6 o'clock. We're gonna go have dinner, check out the bed. I can't wait to get a newer bed. Oh, I can't wait. So got some good news today. I had posted on Newegg's Facebook page about the whole RMA thing. And they replied and said, hey, email us at this address with, your information and we'll see what we can do. I emailed them this morning and within like an hour or less, I got an email back. Long story short, they basically have overnighted me a power supply. So I'll have a power supply hopefully before the weekends and I can get back to using my machine that I built. So yeah, so that's good news. I definitely will stay with Newegg and order from them in the future. But yeah, I just headed home from work. Going to grab a tuna fish sub for Nikki from Subway. She's at work and has no way to go get anything for lunch. So I thought I'd get her one. I may grab me a 6-inch sub. Still going to Adams. You know, dude, you can ride in my... We talked about this just the other day, didn't we? I can't get over to let this guy behind me pass because the car next to me is just tooting along, riding next to me. Yeah, go. You know what? I'm not going to move. Let them ride me. I'm doing 70 and a 65. If they want to go around, there you go. Freaking jerks, man. Technically, I'm speeding. I'm doing 5 miles over the speed limit, and people are just flying past me. I developed a bad case of road rage after living in Chicago for 4 years. Benny, you would agree with me, right? You live in that area. You live right outside Chicago. You know what I'm talking about. I never had road rage till I lived in Chicago. I only lived in West Virginia for 2 years after getting my license. I got my license at 16 and moved out of West Virginia when I was 18. But I don't remember there ever being, like, people driving like this. I just don't remember it. Maybe there was, and I just don't remember. But I really honestly don't think there was this bad of drivers as far as like people that just ride up on your tail end, and I just don't remember it. They didn't drive a lot either though, so maybe that's what it was. And of course, West Virginia is not as populated maybe as obviously Chicago. Well, obviously they're not as populated as Chicago, but or even maybe Des Moines. I guess Des Moines is even more populated than West Virginia was. I'll tell you what though, I don't miss having to drive from Des Moines or West Des Moines all the way to Newton like I used to for when I worked in West Des Moines. It sucked. I used to work in the Jordan Creek area, which is far west Des Moines, and I remember having to drive all the way from there all the way back to Newton, and it would take me an hour and a half with traffic to get home. Even when I worked downtown, which is a little bit closer than West Des Moines was, it still would take me a good hour or so to get home. I spent most of my day just driving, and then in the wintertime, you may as well leave the house a good 2 hours before you even need to, because there's always some kind of accident, and it always seemed to be somewhere between Baxter and Altoona. This is where it used to be. I don't know if any of you have ever driven on 80. A little bit of useless knowledge, maybe. I don't know if it's useless, but a little bit of trivia for you. Interstate 80 is the only interstate that runs all the way from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. I can't remember exactly where it starts on the East Coast, but it goes all the way right to San Francisco, California. Headed over to Adam's house, meet up with Ian. Haven't been over there in forever. It's been at least a month, I think. It'd be good to get over there. It's been a while. I have to turn the light on here, as you can tell, to hopefully make it so you guys can see me. I'm just curious if that's even legal. I don't think it's, obviously they're not illegal to have the lights in your car. They wouldn't put them in there. What I'm saying is it illegal to drive with it on? A lot of vloggers do this because it's the only way you can see most of us at night. It's better than having a big light bar holding it in my face, right? I went against my better judgment and got an Italian BMT at Subway, and my body is regretting it. I should have just gone with what I was going to be, which is just turkey sub, but the guy before me got a BMT, and I was like, oh, it looks good. My buddy Benny was asking me if, me and Ian and Izzy were childhood friends. He didn't know. Not laughing at you, Benny, I promise. But no, Ian and I used to work at a company together, as well as D. Smith. I worked with him at the same company. I kind of worked more with D because he was team lead, and Ian was over in Tier 2 when I was in Tier 1, and then I moved to the Network Operations Center, and Ian left before I did, I think. I left in 2007. Dave left as well later on. But no, so I known Ian, like I knew who he was, but I didn't know him as like a friend. It wasn't really until about 2009. It was actually around the time that I was running for city council that I was telling you guys about yesterday. I had on the back of my Trailblazer, I had Martin for city council, same kind of thing that you saw on the paper. And Nikki and I were at a concert at People's on Court Avenue, and we were leaving or coming into the parking lot or parking garage after the concert, and Ian and D. Skiz were at a show at the Civic Center. They were leaving as we were coming into the garage to get our car to leave. Ian yelled out, "Man, if I lived in Newton, I'd vote for you." I looked over and saw D. Skiz, so knew who he was because he also used to work with us at the same place. But I didn't recognize who the other guy was. Ended up being Ian. Well, at the time, Ian owned a computer store and a computer repair shop. They were needing some help, and D. Skiz was like, "Well, why don't you call up Harold?" I think that's how it went. Ian brought me on, hired me on, and been best bud with him ever since. He was the best man at my wedding. I consider him a brother at this point. I've known him for now, 4 years. Been really close with him. He's always the guy that I go to for anything. I confide a lot of stuff in him, like I would a brother. We're both only children, so I guess that maybe kind of helps with the bond that we have. Ian and I met Izzy through just going to concerts and stuff here in town. Kind of got to be good friends with him over the last year and helping him out with a lot of stuff. So we just been kind of getting a business relationship going with him as well as a friendship. I mean, we started off just a friendship, and then we kind of moved towards, we're doing some stuff for him with the day trip and all that, and going up there as you saw, helping him out with music videos, whatever, teaching him how to video edit a little bit. So yeah, so that's how I know those guys, and that's how I know D and Brian I met through Ian. Adam I met through Ian. D. Skiz, like I said, I have David Scott, if you don't know who I mean when I say D. Skiz. Those were good times working at the computer shop. Man, if we were vlogging back then, there'd been some good material back then, especially when we were doing local host and all that. So if anyone else was out there wondering or just kind of curious or didn't care, but now you know, now you know. I don't know how well you guys can see the moon, but it's really big and kind of orangish color. RBX.
I lost my f***ing bag.
No way. You didn't go anywhere.
I know, right? What the f***? What the f***? What the f***? There you go. That'll be good enough for you. What the hell did that pen get in my pocket? It's in my truck. Okay, whatever.
This is the new EOC. Taking over camera to be funny.
About right there, is that better?
Yep.
Sweet.
KD0RCP.
He's always giving me crap because I don't know where to put it, but I'm not the vlogger either.
Not just about home from Adams. Thought I'd say good night to you guys here. Had a good time there. I haven't been there in over a month, like I said, so it was good to finally get there and see the guys and hang out again. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Have a good night and see you tomorrow.